I'm Sabrina. I'm doing the live on the print marketing. I'm going to give it just a few minutes to get people situated here. I'm kind of cheating. And hopefully this workaround works so I can dual share with everybody. Hi. If you're watching, you can drop some comments. I'm looking down. I am viewing comments on my phone, so I don't have to keep pulling up screens here. We'll see if it works. How's everybody's Tuesday going? I know this got delayed a week. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties. Okay. I know this got delayed a week. My daughter has been super sick with croup and pneumonia, and it's just really been a fun ride. She's spiked another fever this evening, and so my husband graciously took her out somewhere. I think they're playing games at an arcade, so it should be fun. And her fever is from teething. So, I promise I'm not spreading sickness. Okay, so, let's see. I'm just going to introduce myself while I get people hopping on here. I'm Sabrina. Besides a cookier, I was first a graphic designer, photographer. I'm a mom, a wife, and somewhere in between I get to do some cat naps. I have 2 cats. One is a munchkin. Her name is Elsie. I have a standard tortoise shell. Her name is Kit Kat, and a basset hound Miley. And my daughter's name is Josie, and she's 2.5. I am doing this live because I'm sure you've seen it in the group that so many people will post a question about how much should I price this for, or I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I haven't received any sales, or this didn't sell as much as I thought it would. So I'm hoping that addressing some of these things can help maximize your sales and generate, better leads, help target your audience that you're looking for, and so forth. Full disclosure, I'm not a professional on this topic. I didn't go to school for it, but I can promise you that the information that I am bringing to you is from years of doing photography sales. I owned my own photography studio, and also taking photography classes that were generated towards in-person sales. So my husband is also a salesman. He's always been in sales and owns his own cell phone store. So just from learning and listening to him are how I picked up these things. There's a few people that are logged in to here. It might be delayed a little bit, so I will try. I'm trying to see comments as they go through, so I'm hoping that I can catch them. Let me see if I can. I'm just going to pause it here. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Just give me a minute. I'm going to pause. I'm muting this here so you don't hear my ruffle. Okay, I don't see any comments come through, so I'm just going to kind of dive right in here and people can re-watch. So, like I said, I'm not a professional when it comes to sales. I've just learned, and hopefully can pass some knowledge on to you guys. I've seen this work in nearly any industry, like the photography industry. I can see it work in the cookie business, and even though you might be doing in-person sales, the concepts are still the same, and you can definitely still implement it. What I'm going to talk to you today, you could also implement it into your menus if you do menus. I personally don't do menus. The reason why I don't send out menus to my clients or customers is because I want to build a personal connection with them first. And also all of my orders are 100% totally customized on pricing. I have sets. If somebody asks what is your starting price? I obviously have starting prices, but basically everything is customizable. So you can implement this into your menus if you want to. I personally don't give menus. There's nothing wrong with the menu if you want to utilize that. But I like to build on a personal connection with my customers before I hand them over a pricing sheet. Doing it that way, I feel like it generates more sales, or building that personal connection with people So they're more likely to come back to you. Okay, let's see. So a question that was asked when I asked in the event page, what was something that you guys really wanted to learn and take away from here? And I thought it was a really great question. And it was how to make sales without being salesy. And it's a great question. And I think that's everybody's question, is that they don't want to come off as super salesy, but they obviously want to make sales because we're all in the business to make money. So I'm going to read a list off to you guys to make sure I kind of stay on track because I'm a rambler. So there's a few main ones that come to my mind first. I gathered these, and then going back through my old photography notes of when I took some IPS classes, the main one was connection first. That is why I told you that I don't like to hand off a menu to somebody when they ask me pricing questions, because I want to connect with my client before I'm telling them hey, here's these prices. And when I do it that way, I feel like people are, more easy to ghost you when you just hand them over pricing and you didn't build a connection with them. Ask them what this event is for, and get to know them, because relationships within your business is really what helps it grow. So connection first. An example of this, for instead of just doing this with your menus, that was more menu driven, but for pre-sales, to do it's kind of hard to connect to people when you're trying to target a whole group of audience and you're posting these sales on your Facebook page or your Instagram page, and you can't individually connect with everyone. So how you can connect with your audience as a whole is do a live before your lunch. I hate lives, which is super ironic because I'm doing one right now. It's very out of my comfort zone. But if you hate lives, you can also just do your engagement post prior to posting. An example for this for me would be to ask your audience a question the day before you're posting to get them really pumped up. So for examples hey everyone, I hope your Friday is going well. Josie, who's that feisty 2-year-old you see at the door when I hand off your cookies, moved up to swim lessons by herself this week. Talk about breaking my heart. Drop a GIF below how your week has been going, and I'll randomly select someone to receive $5 off their order. Remember, holiday pre-sales drop tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Let them connect with your life and make them feel like they're a part of it, and be sure that you give them the same in return. So what I mean by that is I gave them a personal little insight into what's been happening in my week, and getting real with them and knowing hey, you guys are people too, you have this going on in your life, show me how your week's going. Is it going terrible? Is it going good? And then you're also rewarding them for that. $5 off is really cheap for a marketing budget. So $5, and if you can get us, get that reach, that's very cheap. So if you do marketing or paid ads, $5 doesn't go very well, but $5 by just offering that off to one of your customers could get you pretty far. Anytime you have somebody post on or comment on your group post or your page post, it shows Facebook in their algorithm that's people are wanting to see these, and so it gets you to show more. That's why images are more engaging and why you get more comments off of the images, because Facebook is showing people what they want to see, and generally that's images and content that's actually getting attention. Organic post and organic engagement is amazing. The second thing is to create a time limit. I know Heather and Heather and Corey have both posted a lot on time limits, and it's so true. So when you're posting your pre-sales, you need to say my pre-sale is going to close 11:16 at 8 o'clock p.m. and hold yourself accountable to that. Close it. You need to gather that drive for people to be okay, if I do not buy this by this time, I'm going to miss out, and people don't want to miss out. And number 3 is focusing on their problem and not your product. That's kind of hard, but you want to show people that you're the solution, or even giving them a solution to a problem that they didn't even know that they had. For example, how I would post this for my Christmas cookies is, don't be stuck with flour-covered kitchens this Christmas with cookies that didn't hold their shape. Grab your DIY kit today. You need to show your customer that why your product is going to help them, And when you do that, you're going to get a lot more sales because people are going to be like, oh yeah, I really don't want a flower covered kitchen. And they're going to sell. And my favorite one that happens to be the easiest is you play on emotion. And I know everybody's like, how can you play on emotion when you're not in front of somebody? And that's the question of the day. And I am going to show you how to do that. To play on emotion without being present and reading the buyer, you're going to utilize the tools that you do have. And the tools that you can have that I'm going to show you how to do today is your marketing materials. Marketing materials, like, they seriously sell themselves. Once you get your brand awareness down, your brand recognition, and your marketing materials down to a T, everything is just going to go easy. People are going to recognize you. They're going to see this stuff, and they're going to know that it's yours, and it's going to sell for you. So let's have a seat. We're going to go on an adventure to Target. And Target, we're not going to buy the crates, no. I'm just going to walk you through the laundry detergent aisle. And, okay, so can you like walk through Target and envision the laundry detergent aisle? You can see all the bright colors, green, lime green, the florals on the packaging, and you buy that product because it's super pretty. And your emotion is bringing you back to like, this is springtime and it's very pretty and I want this. I just seen Carly saying if the cats were in the photo that she wouldn't complain. I do have one of them in here. I don't know where the other one is at. They might make an appearance. My cat is a lap cat. So you're in the laundry detergent aisle. You're seeing all these colors. Gain has sold you on picking up this laundry detergent, and you don't even look at the off-brand that doesn't have good marketing materials, that doesn't have good packaging, that's not appealing to you because it just doesn't catch your eye. And it doesn't catch your eye because it is lacking in that, what that product packaging looks like. So product packaging, 100% sales. You can definitely capitalize on that yourself by having, you know, your own marketing material that looks that great. Another example is like also all over the grocery store. Like, even the reason why I use laundry detergent is that is the big one. This one that you passed over, it could be as great, if not better, as Gain, but they didn't have a high enough marketing budget and they didn't build their material as well. So if you like think about the foods in Target, other products, medicine, even garbage bags. Like, yes, I buy the Febreze garbage bags because they're pretty. I know that this happens, but I still buy the pretty stuff. Like, I don't even look at the stuff that doesn't catch my eye. And I know that it's happening, but I still do it. So, like, brands also use color and color theory just to draw your attention, and they know that what color sells. That like blue, it means that you're honest. Green is more like organic, and they know what colors are going to pull on emotions of people. I seriously talk on brand awareness forever, but I know that I will just like keep rambling for hours, so I'm going to move on. Does anybody have any questions on that so far? There's like a really terrible lag, and I hope everybody can hear me correctly. I'm just giving it a minute to try to pull any questions. Okay, I don't see anything coming through, so I'm going to continue on. If there is questions that pull up after I end the live, I will come back there and I'll answer them for you guys. Okay. So basically my biggest takeaway for marketing materials is that it's really important to not only get people to buy, but for your entire brand recognition. Your goal to be, should be that when people look at your cookie boxes, that they know that my company's Hello Cookie. When they look at a cookie box and they know that, oh my gosh, that is Hello Cookie based upon the packaging, they already, like, their brain starts sending endorphins, and they know what that cookie is going to taste like before they even open up the box. They know what it's going to smell like. So brand awareness really does play a huge role in your business, and you should make it a priority and focus on it to help get that many more. It really does help with sales, is what I'm trying to spit out here. So I'm not telling you to lie to your customers or trick them, like I just said. Like, I know that it's happening in the grocery store and I still fall for it, but you should utilize those tools because they've already been fed to your customers, and they're conditioned to see it as well. Another huge sales trick you can use, which is highly successful, is using the emotion of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. My husband informed me he did not know what FOMO meant, so I will fill you in. You don't have to hype your customers up, you do have to hype your customers up and tell them that it's very limited and that it will sell out, that they don't want to miss it. And even if you have 50 of these kits or 50 of this product that you can sell, your customer doesn't need to know that. They just need to know that this is a limited amount and she's going to sell out. I need to get my order in now so I don't miss out on it. It's kind of, just basically like buy it now, you need it now. Just playing on that emotion of really come get it. I don't know if anybody can think about, like, do you have a boutique store that is super trendy or popular in your town? We have one here. I'm not going to say the name of the boutique because I don't really know if that's allowed, but we have one. And anytime that they post anything on their page, people are like lining up at their door when they open because they want them. They create just such a great hype on all their products, no matter what it is. It's like clothing. They also have like knickknacks for their house, like home decor. They post it. They have beads. They post them, and people are running. They just had a holiday launch, and one of the ladies that owns a suite next to them said that they had people in line an hour before their store opened, and there was like 50 people in line. So you can create that type of hype with your customers, with your cookie business as well. It's kind of a little bit harder because you're not doing it in person, or you don't have a storefront, or maybe you do, but it can be done still. Yes, just that definitely emotion, like playing on emotion will get people to buy from you. Another example of that, if you don't have a store local to you that does that, is Etsy. I know everybody uses Etsy, especially us cookiers that like to get our cookie cutters from there. If you've ever bought a cookie cutter or you have something in your cart and it in your cart checkout will say like, hurry, only 3 left, like you're gonna buy that versus letting it sit in your cart because you obviously want it, you checked out, and you're more likely to buy it if there's pressure on buying it and knowing that you could miss out if you didn't. So that's just another example on that. So basically, humans love what we almost can't have. It's actually a principle called like the scarcity principle. So you just basically, like hype your product up and keep driving how they'll sell super quickly. And you'll 9 times out of 10 sell out of it, or at least increase your sales. So in a nutshell, it's basically the psychology of sales. And again, I could do like a whole live on it, but I don't want to keep everybody here for hours and kind of lose track. I feel like I've already talked for a really long time, and it's really weird not seeing anybody's faces or getting feedback. It's probably better that way. It makes me less nervous, but I hope I'm not missing questions. Any questions that I will pause until, I'm going to pause until I can see like the video catch up to me and to see if anything comes through. While I'm waiting, I'll grab my cat for a cameo. Here, let me say hi to Cat, you grouchy old lady. Okay, I don't see anything popping up. Again, I really do apologize if there's questions coming through and I can't see them. Let me see if I can pull them up another way. Okay, I don't see the live coming through, so I'm just going to pop back down to where you can see. Oh, look. Okay, we caught up at least. I think we did. Okay. All right, so where was I? Okay, so I'm going to dive into setting up your guys' price points. For when you're pricing your product, obviously, like, you know what to price it at, but it should be organized in a way to when you deliver it to your customers that what they see is going to always be the highest priced item first. You always want to price it high to low, and when you do that, you're making your lower offering seem like that much better of a deal. So if you were to do it in the reverse, your customer is going to see the lower priced item, and it's just going to go up from there, and they're going to be like, oh, that's kind of getting steep. But if you do it the other way around and you do high, you're already setting the precedence of like, this is $70, so they're not going to have sticker shock when they go down your lower products and they see, you know, your DIY kit is $30 versus like an advent calendar was $70. They're not going to be shocked, and it's also more organized. So when they like, okay, this isn't in my budget, then they can kind of go down the line and they can see what is in their budget. Basically, when you're doing that, you're not, like I said, you're not giving them sticker shock. Doing it reverse, you're making your things less appealing, and you'll lower your sales because you are kind of surprising them with the price tag. A really good example of this is Sam's Club or Costco. I don't know if everybody has one or if they've gone there, but if you have gone to Costco or Sam's Club, especially recently, if you walk into the door, the first thing that you see are going to be their TVs. They're usually like the more expensive ones are at the front, which are the bigger ones, and they're like $2,000 plus. You see that $2,000 price tag, and you're like, holy crap, it's $2,000 TV. But what Sam's Club just did is they set the precedence of like $2,000. They're not like really wanting you to buy a TV. Like, their goal isn't to sell you that $2,000 TV. It is to somebody that's in the market for it, but that's not what they're really wanting you to walk out the door with. What they're wanting you to see is like, that's $2,000. So then when you go down the aisles and then you start seeing things for like the vacuum, that's $150, or the Roomba, that's $300. They're like little seasonal offerings of the toy, that's like $30. It doesn't seem so high anymore because you just seen a $2,000 TV, so everything else that is kind of low that you had just seen isn't that crazy to you. You don't have sticker shock. You actually kind of start thinking in the back of your head like, hey, that's kind of a really good deal. You're more prone to buy it. You can do the same thing with your cookies. So how you can maximize that, I'm going to show you an example with like my photography offering. So I'm going to bring this down. Okay. So this is my like old photography album, and bear with me. So since I don't offer a menu, this is the best I can do to get my point across. So with my wall art or my heirloom collection, I basically put like the frame prints are first, so then when you come down here to the standard prints, they don't seem that expensive. My albums is really what I want to talk to you about. When you're pricing your cookies, you should have, I would recommend having something that is a higher priced item that you don't necessarily want to sell. You do want to sell it, but it's not what you really want to sell it out of. So for example, my album number 1, which again, it's priced highest to lowest. My album number 1, I didn't really want to sell this album. I did sell it, a few of them. I was super excited and stoked that I sold a few of them, but it really wasn't my main focus. My main focus was this middle album. It was much more, affordable. It looked way more appealing to people. And it just was my center focus here. This lower album, I wanted to make sure that people didn't see that this was a really good deal. My lower one really did make my middle one seem that much better, but the higher priced one, really was just there to make my middle package look better. How can you do that with your cookies? So for example, my advent calendars are going to be my most expensive item for Christmas. With that, that's going to be, they're $70. So when I sell, like I said, I do want to sell advent calendars. I really do. Like, I enjoy them. I think they're super cute, but it's really not my focus. My focuses are going to be my DIY kits, and the reason why is they are priced at $30. And I know that you're probably thinking like $30 is significantly less than $70, but when you take time into consideration, I could make like 12 DIY kits with the time that it takes me to make one of my advent calendars. So therefore, like, I'm saving less time, or I'm going to spend less time making that DIY kit that I would with my advent calendar, and I'm going to make more money, have more time, and it's, you know, just easier on me to make 12 DIY kits than it would be that one advent calendar, and I'd be making a lot more money. So, like I said, everybody wants to make more money and do less work, so price your stuff accordingly to that. Back to the main topic. I really apologize if I'm rambling or it doesn't seem organized. Like, I have a million thoughts running through my mind. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions? Let me pull these back. Okay, I don't see anybody, any questions coming through, so I'm going to carry on. So marketing materials, I think, is where we're at here. Okay, so marketing materials. Like I said in the beginning of the live, is that marketing materials will help your brand awareness, your seasonal offerings, like, fly off the shelf. And I know that's what I basically said that I will be doing in this live, and I promise I will show you that. Back to, like I said, your brand awareness and your marketing materials. When I do my seasonal offerings, they are cohesive, meaning that they basically look the same, and not as far as product-wise, but how it is arranged and presented to people. It's primarily marketed the same way, so people know when they see that without even having to see my logo or anything else, like, they can see that, they can recognize that that's my stuff, and they'll stop. Like, it'll help stop in their tracks of scrolling through Facebook and, oh yeah, I do want those. So it's like just another really good tool that you can have and to help your business. And I'm going to show you how you can market your stuff. Facebook is also, like, really choosy on what they show on your newsfeed, and every time you help those algorithms make sure your content is getting shown to people and that people want to see it, it'll help it'll help push it out. And you can easily make that happen by creating a template for the images and then just modifying it based upon season. That's what I've done. So I created a template in InDesign. You can create a template in, like, Canva, Publisher, whatever design program, like good design program that you're using. You can create those templates and just save it and go back to it every seasonal item that you have to offer, and just change the colors on the little banner on the bottom. And how I'm showing you, like, by all means, you do not have to go out and make your seasonal offerings look like this. Like, be unique in it, but be consistent. So be unique, but be consistent. If you do this, it's gonna be so much easier on you every time you go to post something. You know what it's gonna look like. You don't have to spend time searching, you don't have to spend time thinking about, like, how am I going to offer these, or what are these going to look like? You already know. You take your picture, you do your DIY kit, you decorate, you know what it's going to look like. Your customers are going to know what they're going to be looking for when you post these, and it's just going to help drive your sales. For today's purposes, I'm going to be using InDesign, but like I said, you can use Canva, and I'll link, after the video ends, I'll link, like, the Canva like how-to on how to create a template, And if you don't use Canva or you don't know how to make a template on what design program you're using, you can just like go to Google, trusty old Google, and type in like how to make a custom template on whatever program you're using, and it should pull it up for you. And if you can't make a template, I highly would recommend switching over to something that you can make a template, because again, it's just going to save you a lot of time and will help your brand awareness significantly. Before starting your seasonal offerings and like using your templates, always just double check that Facebook hasn't changed their pixel size on what images are getting shown, because it does matter. Facebook won't show an image, or they still will, but they won't push it as much if your image doesn't fit nicely on somebody's screen. So I always just double check out like at least twice a year that like, or if I start noticing that pictures are kind of showing up differently, I'll just double check to make sure Facebook didn't change the size on me. I design for Facebook and then post on Instagram. They're basically the same size, like within like 1,000 pixels. But doing that, like my audience base is mainly on Facebook. So I design for Facebook, post on Instagram. They still fit properly. Instagram still shows them. If you wanted to do a step further and you wanted to have one separate one for Facebook and one separate one for Instagram, you definitely can. The only thing that I don't recommend is designing in Photoshop. You can edit your pictures in Photoshop. That's 100% what Photoshop is for. But Photoshop is a pixel-based program, which means that your image can't be resized like endlessly. And they really do limit the quality. So InDesign, Illustrator, like those are all ones that won't seriously restrict your sizing. It doesn't matter significantly, but it does like when it comes to logos and stuff. So it's just kind of in a good habit to not rely heavily on Photoshop for things other than photo related stuff. Okay, so I'm going to switch my screen here for you to go back to a template. So what I wanted to show you is these are my old, this is from Easter. I could not find my Halloween stuff for whatever reason, but it's there. So these are my options that I had. They're not in order. I apologize. But you can see that it's cohesive across the line. Images are like eye-catching. Everything leads your viewer into the description. And when you start doing these templates, if you're kind of in the market of doing these templates, don't leave information off of these. Like you need to have like clearly stated how they're going to order them. Like you can name them like how I did option A, B, C, or D, or you can name them like turkey in a stock pot, DIY kit, anything, like you can name them, it doesn't matter. So, but leave all the information on there. Like you don't want your viewers to see these images but still have questions that they need to ask you, because questions getting flooded to your inbox again is going to eat up your time, and we're all about saving time. So these are basically how I have them for my seasonal stuff. It's pretty much the same thing. I know this is Easter. Don't hate me. I haven't gotten my Thanksgiving stuff yet because again my daughter's been sick and I could not find my Halloween ones for whatever reason. So yeah, just having the cohesiveness that people can recognize it and they can easily see what you're offering, how much it is, what everything comes with it. And another thing is your images are not leading your viewer off of it, like off of your image and then having to come back. And I'll talk more about that later. So, everybody's asking like, okay, well, how do I do this? Like, how can I make a template? InDesign is super easy. It is a paid program. So you don't have to use Instagram. There's how-tos on how to make custom templates on nearly every design software, or at least there should be. So I already set up the beginning of it. So to create a new document, Facebook's current size of images that they like to show on their newsfeed are going to be 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels. It is a square, And yeah, so I would, if this is me starting from scratch, I would create my template before I start adding things into it. So you're gonna want to have your image in here somewhere. I asked somebody, or I asked the group if anybody could provide images for me to do this off of, and I chose, or randomly chose, Courtney. And if Courtney's watching this, I know I am so late since I had to move this live back, so I'm going to utilize this today. But if you want to send me your Christmas offerings, I'd be happy to do this for your Christmas stuff. So you can have your marketing materials done for Christmas while you kind of figure out how to get your own on here. Okay. So with this, like if you didn't like how much, you know, your image gets cut off, you can obviously play around with it and move things around. You can move your turkey down. Just play around with it. Like image placement is not super important until you get everything set up how you want to. So if you're making a template yourself, you can, this isn't going to be like perfect, guys. I apologize. I'm trying to do it quickly. You can just label them like title, price, and description. So then when you come back, you can just like fill it in, or, you know, like if you're comfortable, just start designing your stuff right away. You can definitely do that too. When it comes to your ads and making them super clean and recognizable, is you do want to keep your specifications down to like kind of a minimum. And what I mean by that is fonts. Like I've seen crazy ads that have so many different fonts on there, it's hard for the viewer to focus on the font. So try to keep it at a maximum of 2 different fonts, and not the same, like not 2 different cursive fonts or 2 different script fonts. Like that kind of makes it busy. What I like, for instance, for Courtney's logo here, like those are 2 perfect fonts. Like she has her script font for Courtney's, and then she has cakes in like a very nice serif font, and it's very easily recognizable. So if that was like my logo, I would implement those 2 fonts throughout all of my marketing material, like my business cards. If you hand out like cookie care instructions, like I would make sure all my fonts 100% match my business brand and that they are cohesive, and so people can recognize, like they can obviously don't know the name of the font, but they can also see like this is Courtney's font, like, oh, that's Courtney, like, and they will recognize. I know it sounds crazy, but people will recognize it before they even start reading anything. For the sake of this, I don't know what Courtney's fonts are, so I can't go off of that right now, but one of my favorite fonts that should be available to everybody is Roboto. It's super clean. Everybody, I feel like, uses Arial. Like it's fine, but it's very overused. Or Helvetica is also super overused. So I try to make it a little bit unique, which is why I say try to go off your logo fonts if you know what they are and if they're easily legible. So for the sake of this, I'm just gonna do Roboto here. You can, and when I say 2 different fonts, like it's called a font family. And that's getting really technical, but if you can see here, they have like different weights. So like bold, black, condensed, italic light, medium. Like you can still use different weights of those fonts, but don't be like mixing 10 different fonts together, because it's just going to make your stuff hard to read and not as clean. So title wise, when you're printing something, like the lowest you want to do is 12 points for the majority of all fonts, but for display you kind of want to keep in mind that what you see on your screen is kind of it. 12 is really small for regular screen stuff, so I'd recommend pretty high when you're doing your title. So I'm going to just like name this turkey platter. And I do not know what Courtney is selling this for, but I'm going to put in here like $40. And then down, we're going to make sure that we're putting a description here, and like a different way I'm switching it so this font can stand out. You want to make sure you're like kind of separating your you want to make sure you're separating your title, the price, and then the description. You want that big separation so people can easily distinguish one from another. So for instance, you have the title, the turkey platter, you have the price. Like that answers two of your people's questions. Like, what is this? How much is it? And then you're going to want to add a description. And so for that description, you can type like, do whatever, like turkey platter comes with, I don't know how many cookies this is, 14 cookies, decorated in royal icing. Another thing that you can do to like totally drive your sales is signature royal icing. So people are like, oh yeah, like that's her signature stuff. I don't like, if this isn't gonna really matter, but don't leave a hyphen at an end of a sentence. It just makes everything harder to read. My computer froze, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't know why this is not going. Okay, so my thing completely froze, but the my InDesign program completely froze. But it still remains the same. I hope everybody can hear me. It shows that it's getting highlighted over there, but it still remains the same. So this isn't how I would leave it, like at all, 100%. Like it's not. I would go back to kind of how I showed you. Maybe let me see. More so like this. I can't. The other one's not letting me utilize it. It froze. So basically, like your options, having the price clearly stated, like what this DIY kit is going to include. Even like go farther and put like buttercream icing so they're not wondering if it's royal icing, buttercream, and so forth. Marie, I am using InDesign. It is a paid program. It's Adobe. It is a heavy program. I know how to use it because I went to school for graphic design. It's what designers use to make like magazine spreads, and you can use it. It is paid, but if you, again, it's a business expense. If you can learn how to use it, which you definitely can, it's a business expense. If it helps you, I literally utilize it for everything. I make my business cards with it. I make my I do my cookie care cards, I do my DIY kits, like stickers, everything I design in InDesign, and it's a really great tool to have. So I hope that answers your question. But again, piggybacking on earlier, you can you can make templates like this in Canva, and I believe Corel Draw. I can't promise you on that. I think you could be able to, but again, just Google that and you should be able to know. So once you get these done, you can save them as JPEGs and then just upload them onto Facebook. And then again, when you post them, make sure you're posting them with the highest price first, and then your lowest price next. So I'll show you my Halloween one here. Okay, so for instance, my Halloween stuff I had posted, 30 was my most. The reason why I put this half dozen in here, it's my DIY kits, I did a sneak peek so people were anticipating them already, but my half dozen also is kind of below the 30 mark. So, and again, my full dozen, I wasn't really anticipating selling tons of full dozens, but it was there to make my half dozen look small, to look better, to make my spooky set look better, to make my You've Been Booed look better. People aren't going to get sticker shock when they're going down the line. This jumped out of order, but so I'm kind of biting my own tongue on that one. But typically I like to post them in numerical order of the highest price up higher and then going down from there. There is, I told you I was going to, tell you image placement, and Becca was super gracious to tell me that I could share with you her images. Let me see if I can find them really quick. My desktop is a disaster, so okay. I might just go to her profile here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group and pull them up off that. She was super nice and said that she gave me permission to be able to kind of talk about her pictures and why, like, some of them are better with, hopefully I can find, okay, perfect, they're right here. So with Becca, she asked this question, like, back in October, how, like, which image would be best for her product. If you're using some of these images for the example of what I had just shown you previously, it's going to, if you were to drop this into that template, which I can just do it actually, just give me a second. Okay, it's in examples. I'm going to go back to InDesign and attempt to utilize it here. Sorry, I can't find it, so I'm just going to resave it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, when I was beginning, kind of going back before, I told you that some images are better than others because some will lead your viewers like off of the screen, and it'll make them have to like physically go back and view it, and it's not going to be so great. Okay, I know I saved that. You guys seen that I saved it? Okay, let's see where it should be. Okay, downloads. Okay. So if we were to place this image in here, the hands and the placement of the hands are going to bring the viewer like back down to these macaroons. This hand's going to bring you down, and you're going to start looking at this stuff down here. But if it was the other image that what I pulled, if you look at it, depending on, you know, like certain parameters of how you're looking at it, this is one's more to pull your viewer off the page and not down into the text that you have. These aren't like, she does an amazing job with her pictures and her macaroons, like they look delicious, so it's not a terrible picture. But for example, if I had my icing bags, like the tips pointed the other direction, it was taking people off the page. They're going to have to physically come back and look at it, and it's going to be less appealing to your viewer, and they're gonna usually like leave your page, or they're gonna have to force themselves to come back to look at it. So it's obviously not what you want. This one is kind of like cleaner. It kind of brings you back down. You want to go keep looking at the picture, and it just keeps bringing you around, and then it obviously takes you down to the image. Not most of us aren't going to use hands in most of our pictures. You know, this is a Halloween one, so it's kind of fun, but also especially with human features. So like if you have hands in your image, you're going to look at the hands, because it's scientifically proven that humans will look for human features in a picture, and that's what they connect with first. So when you have skeleton hands leading your viewer off the page, like they are going to come off of it. Again, they're super great pictures anyway. So I'm gonna go back since this is loaded again. Going back to Courtney's image, I would not leave this. This is my, like, I will pull, so when this is your template, you have it started, so I would come in here and I would pull a color like off of your page, off of your image that is in every single one. So if Courtney were to use these beads in every single one of her picture, she could use that as a background to kind of just help tie in everything, that she's still making it look like Thanksgiving themed. And this image goes into, it's not just a random color that she chose. Like this color goes into her set and it's just cohesive. It looks appealing. I would fix the text, but I think it'll freeze on me again. But going back to like the same text like this, like making it big, making it large, making people be able to see what it is and answering their questions. I see a question in here that, is it better to post in Facebook the photo in JPEG or PNG? I don't know the answer to that, I'll be honest with you. I use JPEG. PNG isn't really an image, like an actual image file. So a PNG can hold a transparent background. So like graphic designer, for me, like if somebody has a need for a transparent logo and that they're using it on their website, that's when you would want to use a PNG. But you'd really want to kind of just use JPEGs, in my opinion. It could be wrong, but JPEGs are more of an image file, whereas PNGs are more utilized. It still is an image file, but it's more utilized for like transparencies and stuff. I'm not sure if Facebook favors a JPEG over a PNG, but it's something that you could Google. You don't want to make sure like your Facebook images are like super high quality, or sorry, your JPEG images are super high quality, because Facebook would automatically resize them and it could lose some information if they resize it to what they see. So you want to make sure that you are like using the pixel size of like 20 by 2048 by 2048. We'll make sure that they are in the same parameters and Facebook isn't going to be resizing a super large photo. So hopefully that helps. Does anybody have any questions on like designing your marketing materials, or does everybody get like having those cohesive cohesive pictures that can kind of help drive your sales for you? Again, like I'm not saying that it's like 100% right. It's just what has worked well for me in maximizing my sales that way. And people knowing that when they see those images, that those images are like 100% like Hello Cookie. They can see that, they can pick it out. They know all the information right off the top of their heads without having to message me, because all I want is people to message me for orders and not for a ton of questions. With the, just recapping here before I close out for you guys today, is making sure you know your to try to have an offering that is a higher priced one, to make your middle ones or even your lower ones look like that much better of a sale. And hopefully you can maximize your profit that way. Playing on emotion and definitely giving that timeline. So you can see here, like I'm closing out my pre-orders today at 5 o'clock. I post a couple times to make sure everybody has gotten a chance to see them. I also recently started a Facebook VIP group. Highly recommend that. I asked my main page here if people were interested in one and had a ton of engagement, that people wanted a VIP Facebook group. So I made a VIP Facebook group for them, and within the first like 24 hours, I've had 50 people join it, which is, it's crazy. I think it's close to 50. So I highly recommend doing that too, and offering that your pre-sales to your VIP page first, and then posting it to your page like a day later, or however long of a time frame you think. But the reason why that is a good idea is you're giving those VIP people, you're making them feel very important, and that they get first dibs on something. They're going to feel that much more inclined to purchase. They feel like they're in, that they're your friend, that they're part of this awesome group, and that they're going to want to purchase from you. My rules for my page is that you have to have purchased from me before. So if you haven't purchased from me, you can't get in. I created my Facebook group like this week on purpose because I'll be posting my Thanksgiving stuff like tomorrow. So if somebody has been wanting to get into that Facebook group, or they've seen that Facebook group, that Hello Cookie VIP group, they can now get in after, they were to order a Thanksgiving pre-sale. Another thing that you could do is during all of your seasonal offerings, offer something that is only for your Facebook VIP page and that it's not available to everybody else on your public page. It'll make them just feel that much more important, playing on that emotion, making them feel special. If anybody has any questions for me, like after the live, after you're rewatching it, feel free to message me and I'll try to answer the questions on there. I do have like some book recommendations if anybody wants any. There is a sugar cookie bookie group. I don't know if everybody knows that, and I don't know if they've covered the first book I'll recommend to you, which is Worth Every Penny. It really goes in depth about trying to be like a boutique mindset and why you are worth every penny, and how to post or how to price your stuff to maximize your sales. And then the other one that I do know that the Sugar Cookie Bookie group went over is the Pumpkin Plan. Both of those are fantastic books to help your business and how to price things. And yeah, so hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully this is what you're looking for. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me all night long. It took much longer than I thought it would. So, thank you, and I'm going to go ahead and end the live. I'll take a look in the comments. If you don't hear me, you can. If I don't comment quickly, you can always message me, and I hope you guys have a good evening.